Hey guys, it's Wednesday,
which means new amazing race.
Yay! So yeah, it got pushed back to 8 because of the Big Brother finale, but now it's done.
Or pushed up, yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, pushed up. So,
and this was Brazil. They went to the Amazon, which is exciting.
It was
and this
pretty.
This is going to be their second time in South America, and the next episode is also in South America in Paraguay, which is cool.
Yeah.
So this episode started out at the airport, I believe, with Will and James going up to Riley and Madison and
making like an alliance.
They were like, "Hey,
we love to see it.
We're kind of like the top guys right now.
So
like all the top 5 teams, which I believe they were referencing themselves." Riley, Madison, Hung and Chi, D'Angelo and Gary, and Eshwar and Aparna.
Yeah.
So, they kind of solidified like hey, we'll help you guys out if you guys help us, and like we'll just keep each other safe because, I mean, to be honest, the 5 teams that they made the agreement with are the most entertaining teams to watch, and they're also the best teams compared to
it's also like, do they really need to help each other? Because they're. But
I think it's to guarantee that they
stay like the final 5 at least.
Yeah.
Get everyone else out first.
And they can trust them. Because I don't think that they could trust the other teams as much. So getting into it.
That was fun. That was already starting some. Ooh, okay.
Yeah. So obviously Hung and Chi have been in first for a majority of the race, if not first, like second, right third,
behind. Yeah.
And
my winner pick.
The last episode, where the Olympic hurdlers got evicted, or eliminated. I'm in Big Brother mode. I keep saying evicted.
They were eliminated. We gotta get the lingo.
Will and James, basically, let's talk about this drama because it leads into this episode. Will and James were basically, struggling on the truck that they had to decorate, and I believe they ended up figuring it out
because
they
overheard.
Did they overhear? No, I thought they finished and then the other team overheard because that's what made it close.
Yeah, you're right.
So Will and James, I believe, finished, and then Leo and Alana, I think, were trailing behind them, and they told Haley and...
But they shouted it.
So what are their names? Haley and... The blondes.
The blonde sisters that look like twins.
I'm trying to remember all the team names.
We're going to get there. We're really going to get there, guys.
I apologize.
Big Brother's over. We only have to worry about this right now.
Maybe it's Haley. I don't know. It's the blondes.
I don't know.
They basically were like, hey, it's the horns, like, whatever. Which didn't really help because the other team overheard. So... Will and James ended up finding out about it, and we're not happy.
Like they're like, why would they do that?
So
basically,
hold on to that thought.
Effing with Leo and Alana.
No, so hold on to that. Basically, I believe Will and James were in the lead going into the beginning.
Yes.
Along with Riley and Madison.
It was pretty neck and neck.
Basically, they had to go to a store. I believe there was something before that, but I can't remember. What was before the store that they had to go to? Or was that the first one where they had to get the list?
They had to get the list and collect a certain amount of food stuff from this big, large market.
Yeah.
And there was the language barrier.
Yeah, but it seems like Will and James, Riley and Madison did really well. I think it's because they knew...
I think at least Riley and Madison had admitted that they do know other languages. And I believe one of them said Italian, but one of Will and James was speaking something too. If they didn't know it, they caught on pretty quick and were able to use it to their advantage.
I could have sworn I heard someone say they knew Spanish, but they're in Brazil where they speak Portuguese.
Yeah, but but
I feel like it's
tied,
similar.
So yeah, they are similar.
It was easy enough to kind of figure it out.
Get somewhere with it.
Yeah, so
very helpful.
Will and James,
because I don't know nothing and I would have been lost. I would have been out there like ASL, anyone? Hard of hearing, I don't know.
Can you write it down?
Yeah. Point.
That would be the biggest struggle, in my opinion, would be the language barrier, just because you're under so much stress and then you're trying to communicate and like understand. And that's always been like the root of, you know, some of the issues is like communication, not necessarily with language, but also just like between partners, which is one thing I want to bring up real quick between Victoria and her partner. I forgot her name. I think Michelle.
We're gonna get it, guys. I promise.
Their dynamic is just bad. Like, this is my first Amazing Race season. It just seems very
catty
and like toxic, and like nothing about like their relationship like outside the game, purely in the game, their communication is just very like
negative,
abrasive, and like argumentative, and they don't communicate well. No. They've definitely dropped the ball more than any other team.
Like, I'm surprised they're able to pick the ball up enough to not be eliminated.
Yeah.
Because of how bad it is.
Can we also talk about like the biggest mistake of not finding the clue literally right below the...
Like right in front of them.
The double...
that was exciting. This episode had a double U-turn.
Yeah.
And you had to say who was doing the person U-turning the people.
Which is new to me because I know that they change it up from time to time. I didn't know that a double U-turn was that, you know, big of a deal. And
I was excited. I heard it. I said, ooh.
Apparently.
I was like, let's go.
Because there was a U-turn in episode 2, but I don't think anyone used it.
Nope. They all opted not to do it. We're not going to do it.
The double U-turn was used by 2 people. It was used by Will and James on Leo and Alana because of them spilling the secret about the trucks. They said...
Nope, they drew the line in the sand.
And you could tell immediately, like, Will and James were, you know, the first ones to get to the cookout type deal. And Hung and Chi came after, and they were like, oh, hey, what's up? And then the blonde team got there, and they were like, oh, hi. And then Leo and Alana got there, and they were both like...
The eye roll. Oh, I lived for it.
It was so good. Drama. So entertaining.
I was like, yes.
And you could just tell.
I was like, I don't know. I mean,
as soon as they mentioned.
Chi, but like if there was an America's favorite player type thing, I'm like, Will and James, yes.
And Riley and Madison are pretty entertaining too.
I like them.
And same thing with, again.
We like almost everybody. That's lightweight the problem.
Yeah, because... Like, I love D'Angelo and Gary's dynamic. I love Eshwar and Aparna's dynamic.
Yeah, because they're almost a little bit mirrored of the Michelle and whatever. Like, they don't communicate the best, but they work really hard to.
And they're both super intelligent.
Yeah, so it's like they look past it and are able to, like, just do it for, like, game's sake. Yeah. So, like... It's like the best version of a not great communication that you can get, and that's nice to see.
Even Leo and Alana are entertaining to watch. Like watching them completely
Alana
train
just,
wreck
lose it, but Leo pull it together was.
And Alana
okay, you know, he dragged her with him to keep going because she wanted to bury her head in the sand. I mean, she kept going, but she was crying, complaining, like, I'm so tired. And I get it. I don't get it, but, I probably would be tired too. But, he was the one that was like, it's all right. Like, let's do this. Let's go. Like, if there wasn't that motivation when you're digging yourself into that negative hole, it's easy to just roll over and die.
But we are jumping the gun a little bit. So let's rewind to... Will and James finished first and were the first to ride their boat to the island where they did the cooking or either the roofs, the huts.
Yeah.
But Will and James were there with Riley and Madison at the table, and Riley and Madison did not get the all clear to move on, and Will and James told them that it was a pair of gloves that they were missing. Mm-hmm. Had they not told them that,
they could have been there. They could have been there. Maybe they would have been eliminated.
We don't know. So that was the first kind of solidification of
they're working together.
They are working together. And another thing was Will and James, I believe, were on their boat or something, and they forgot something as they were going through the list. And I believe it was either on the table or Riley and Madison had a second machete. And they gave it to Will and James, and that was that was a mutual, we helped you with the gloves, you are helping us with the machete.
Yeah.
that was a very good like form of like bond and like keeping each other safe.
Yeah.
The only other thing that I can remember in terms of like hints or whatever, there was actually a few this episode with once they were getting on the boats to the island, I believe it was D'Angelo and Gary who were looking at the girls.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it Michelle and Caitlin? I don't know. It was the dark-haired sisters.
Yes.
And they basically were already like 30 minutes out by boat, and they basically were like, you need your bag, right?
And they were like,
oh, we forgot our bag.
So they helped them. They gave them that like, because they were like, I'm gonna be honest, like we're that much far ahead of them, like they're probably not gonna affect us. We might as well be nice and help them. And I'm like,
because in the event,
what goes around comes around.
Yeah, in the event that they don't get eliminated, they will remember that, and they could help you if you are ever in that situation.
So it was a smart move.
Yeah, and
they should have been very grateful for it.
And I think the move that Will and James did later, had they not worked with Riley and Madison, and also like Hung and Chi kind of solidifying that alliance, that could have backfired very badly on them.
That's true.
Because of
people being mad.
Leo and Alana being saved by the blonde sisters, U-turning Jerry and Frank.
So then they weren't eliminated on the U-turn, and so they can like pull other people to be mad about it. But now it's kind of like it's probably gonna kind of even out. We'll see how it plays.
Yeah. So.
But the U-turn stuff should basically ensure that there is some drama next week, and I'm excited.
Yeah. So, I believe it's Victoria and Michelle. I'm
right.
probably messing up the names, but if I'm not,
it's been a long night. We had the season finale of Big Brother. So.
It's been 3 hours of TV.
It's been a lot.
They basically got back to the beach and saw that other people had left their stuff, and that was basically a confirmation of like we knew who was going to go home.
Yeah.
Especially after they got U-turned.
Yeah.
Jerry and Frank did not get told by anyone until they got to the island, where they asked like, "Do we need our bag?" And D'Angelo and Gary said, "Yeah, you do."
And they were like,
they were basically.
I give it to them though. Like
they did not give up.
They didn't give up. They finished everything, even knowing they were losing. And I even kind of told Saudi, I'm like, do they really have to do that? But it's like like they held their head high and they did the right thing. And like, they weren't bitter about it, because you do technically never know. So like, what if the boat breaks down? Like.
Or they forget one of the ingredients, and then they have to go all the way back to the market to get that one ingredient. Like, you never know. So, that's
also my mentality, having been an athlete and stuff. Like, I was a runner, and it's like, I don't care.
The person in first in the race could trip and fall and not be able to finish the race.
But it doesn't matter. Even I'm going off of my own, personal record that I want to beat. I'm not just running against other people. I'm running against my own time. And it's like, I would cross the finish line and still run like a couple steps at least, like as hard as I can, because you never know. Like every second counts, everything counts, and you just want to give that your all. And I that's what they did. They were athletes and whatnot, so it's like you give it your all, and then the minute you are done, then you can die at the end of the finish line. But like up until then, it is balls to the wall, and that's a competitor for you.
Yeah.
So it's like, even though we didn't get to see a lot of them, I'm gonna be honest, I was a little sad to see them leave, because I'm not gonna lie, there's only really like one team that I don't care for at the moment, and so
which is
the dark-haired sisters. Like,
and even then, like,
and even then,
they
not that
could
bad.
Rebound and like help, and like, because obviously I'm assuming like relationships could start out good and go poorly. Relationships could start poorly and go better. Like,
that's
we don't know.
And the crazy part of life.
We honestly haven't disliked any team. It's just we don't particularly like root for. Like, I'm happy with seeing literally any of the teams win
so far.
With the U-turn happening.
The double U-turn.
Yeah, so after going back to get their bags and then them finding out that they were U-turned,
I think they pretty much knew, but
it was also kind of heartbreaking to watch.
It was. It was like, it's bad.
Even like though like the Leo and Alana U-turn was such good drama for the show.
It just didn't.
It was also like a little bit like sad to watch, just because.
No,
like,
I liked it. I'm not gonna lie. I liked it.
obviously it's entertaining, but I mean, you feel bad for these people because I mean,
they're
giving
like, I'm like, I can only imagine being sleep deprived, food deprived, knowing you're being filmed. This is $1 million. Like,
one thing I will say, it solidified Will and James. They want to fucking win the game.
And I think they will do everything to do it, and I love to watch the way they do it.
The one team that put them in jeopardy of being eliminated, they were like, nope, we're U-turning them. Like, they even, like, were like, should we do it? Yeah, we're going to do it. Like, it wasn't even, like, that long of a thought. They were like, no, we have to do it.
they thought about it, but they said, no, mm-mm.
Mm-hmm. So, and the drama really stems from Jerry and Frank forgetting their bag. Had they not forgotten their bag, I don't know if they would have been eliminated.
Who knows who would have been eliminated? Could have been Alana and Leo, or things could have been completely different. I mean, who knows?
And I forgot which team put the leaves upside down and had to restart, but I think that was that Riley and Madison?
I think it was, and someone told them. That's what I was just thinking.
I think so.
I don't know. There was a lot of
like hints awesome. And like people whispering to each other. It was so great to
see them people work together and do other things. I don't know.
And the one thing I will say, like, Will and James definitely like proved themselves to be like one of the top competitors to win.
Totally.
But Hung and Chi have not gotten into any drama. They decided not to U-turn both times because they finished.
They are like just that.
They're such a well-rounded team. Yep. They're smart. They're physical. They are, playing a good like social game in terms of like, we're in this alliance, but we also aren't having to really like
use it,
U-turn, or because like we don't need to.
Yeah.
And it's super smart, and they're just like
so good. We'll see.
But this episode did not disappoint.
Want Will and James. It did not disappoint. I cannot wait for the next one. Mm-hmm. We will be back next Wednesday,
where they're going to Paraguay.
Yeah.
And in the meantime, you can also watch. We are probably going to start Big Brother Canada season 5.
So that's the next thing that we'll be talking about besides
Amazing Race.
Every Wednesday, Amazing Race.
Now that All Stars is over.
Ugh, yes.
Thank God.
It's done. Woo!
So that was the Amazing Race episode 3, Brazil. Yeah. Stay tuned for episode 4.
And like, comment, share, subscribe.